This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. Well, there will be no teacher strike in Oakland and no school disruption. Teachers and the Oakland Unified School District, they reached a deal after marathon negotiations. So that's the good news. But while that crisis has been averted, the school district now has to deal with a $100 million budget gap, and it has just approved eliminating more than 400 positions. Lynn has more on this potential impact.
A big relief that a strike has been averted, but there's also a sense of sadness. The district will have to lay off hundreds of teachers to pay for the raises and balance the budget. Castlemont High here is one of the schools expected to get hit hard by the layoffs.
He's one of the best teachers here. You know, I couldn't imagine a different teacher in that classroom teaching, so it would really suck if he left.
Castlemont High students worry about how layoffs will affect their school and education.
It sucks because, you know, there's a lot of good teachers here.
Sophomore Yuri McClatty says the underserved Castlemont High in East Oakland needs more resources, not less.
These past couple years, Castlemont, the resources, it's gotten a lot worse, so I'm praying it gets better.
Test scores and district data show Castlemont is one of the lowest performing schools in Oakland. And based on its attendance record, district officials believe the school could see some of the worst layoffs. The school board voted this week to lay off 421 educators for the upcoming school year. Another 144 positions will have their hours reduced.
I was pink slipped a few years ago, and it was like, and I'd been in the district for a while when it happened, so I was not expecting it. It's very hard. I mean, you don't know, should I look for another job? Should I stay? It's very unsettling.
Jennifer Brohart is the president of the school board and a longtime Oakland teacher. She says they have no choice. They must cut $100 million to balance the budget. Otherwise, the district could go bankrupt and return to state receivership.
The need for districts and unions to come together and get more money from the state. I think it's also an issue of state funding.
Both the teachers union and the district say they're glad they reached a tentative agreement on Friday morning to prevent a strike. Educators say the new deal would give senior teachers a 13% pay raise over 2 years, while younger educators would see an 11% increase.
A kind of a community win for trying to create the stability that we know that our students really deserve.
The union president is disappointed with the upcoming layoffs, calling them unnecessary.
We have over 400 educators that leave the district every year, so it actually just doesn't make sense mathematically.
Back at Castlemont, students wonder what will happen to some of their favorite teachers.
It's tough for us in the future, and it hurts. You know, it really hurts to see teachers that's been here for years and months, you know, it really hurts to see them get cut.
Yuri believes they'll overcome, doing more with less.
You know, I've had a couple people say to my face, you know, this school is trash, but it's not. It's a great school.
Teachers will vote in the next couple of weeks on whether they'll accept the new deal. Around the same time, the district will send out those layoff notices by March 15th.
Meantime, San Francisco teachers just ratified their contract agreement with the school district after going on a 4-day strike, and that 2-year deal includes paid family health care benefits and higher wages. The final step is approval from the city's Board of Education. Brentwood police released body cam footage from the arrest of a 72-year-old woman. She died days later. Her family says it's because the way officers treated her during the arrest. Yolanda Ramirez was arrested in September following a family dispute at her sister's home. Police say after several minutes of talking to all parties, they attempted to arrest Ramirez. They say she resisted as she was put into the back of the police cruiser. The Ramirez family claims that her head got slammed as she was lying across the back seat as officers closed both doors. Her husband, Rudy, says she would still be here if police had not been so forceful that day.
Now I understand why they have delayed so long to show us that video, because it was horrific.
The official autopsy found that Ramirez died from natural causes, while the family's autopsy cited blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. Her family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. And police in San Francisco, they're looking for the gunman in a double shooting that left one person dead. Our chopper was over the scene at Dakota and 25th Streets in the Potrero Hill neighborhood. We're also told Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, just a few blocks away, was placed on lockdown as a precaution. Late word that a strike at the San Francisco Superior Court has come to an end. Court clerks say they have reached a tentative agreement with court management. Today was day 2 of the strike. The walkout slowed down court cases and some trials were paused. Clerks say the new deal addresses their concerns over pay and time off, along with staffing at the courts. All court services are expected to begin again on Monday. So the latest snow survey shows that California's snowpack is falling further behind despite getting a lot of snow from this month's storms. The California Department of Water Resources says the statewide snowpack is at just 66% of the average for this date. Officials say this trend could threaten water supply if more rain doesn't come soon.
We're ahead of where we were last month, but still way behind where we would hope to be, particularly in the northern part of the state. The net of the storms over the past 2 weeks did not catch us back up to average in terms of our snowpack.
California uses the data from these snow surveys to determine how much water will be available. The snowpack provides about a third of the state's water supply. And then here in the Bay Area, well, we finally got a taste of spring after a stretch of rainy weather. So take a look at this. This is the Claro Reservoir in San Jose, where families, well, they took advantage of the warm weather just to hop on a paddleboard. How fun is that?
We wanted to pack up and come out here to the lake. I have 5 kiddos. My friend brought her 3, and we're just letting them enjoy the warm weather and stay cool, better than being stuck inside.
How cute is that? I think they have like 4 or 5 people, Darren.
That was pretty cute, Juliet. We got transitioned to talk about the warmth. It was just on the verge of 80 degrees in San Jose today. The real warmth today is in Southern California. This center of high pressure has brought temperatures down here to near 100 in the deserts. I've just got to show you some of the numbers down here. It's extreme. It is the deserts after all, but it's also February. So they're on the verge of 100 down there. But if we transition our vantage point, let's put the center of the high back in place. And now let's come back to home. As we fly past our center of high pressure, the numbers here were not as intense, but warm enough. So I wanted to pick out the 2 kind of indicator locations that really describe what today was like here. Verge of 80 in San Jose, 75 in San Francisco. We're doing this again tomorrow. Let's take a look at tomorrow's daytime highs. We'll get everybody on here. Let's start out down in Monterey Bay so we can see where you'll be for Santa Cruz, Monterey. Numbers well into the 70s down here, but I've got San Jose at 80 again tomorrow. This is your Saturday. This is the last day of February, and you're going to be right at 80 again in San Jose, and you can walk those numbers all the way up to the North Bay. Your temperatures in Santa Rosa will be in the mid-70s, and it'll be another mid-70-degree day in the city. Sunday, very different. We're going to talk about the next chance of rain. We're going to do a quick reversal. I'll see you with that in a few minutes. Juliet, back to you.
All right, Darren, thank you. Well, they were talking all things earthquakes at a town hall today in San Ramon. We've been reporting on the earthquake swarm that has rattled the area over the last several weeks. The city today is getting residents and experts together to talk about being prepared.
Not to lighten up what you're feeling, that unsettled feeling that you've had from the swarm that we've had, but pay attention because the big one is coming. We don't know when. But it's out there. Historically, we know it's going to come one day.
Oh, did he have to say that? Officials advised community members to have a family emergency plan. Yes, he did. He needed to warn us all. And also advised to sign up for community warning system alerts. So in San Francisco, a major earthquake upgrade is almost finished to keep water flowing at SF General Hospital in case of disaster. Kenny Choi shows us how a new pipeline designed to bend, not break, is now in place.
Deep underground in the Mission District, crews are making final connections on a pipeline built for a worst-case scenario, a major earthquake. Vicente Roberts is the resident engineer for SF Water.
What we're doing, we have the water division crews in the trench for our final connection here, and so they're going piece by piece for 50 or so feet, one by one. They've got to bolt them up and make sure they're all secure and in place.
The new earthquake-resistant pipe runs nearly 4 miles from the College Hill Reservoir in Bernal Heights to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, the city's primary trauma center. Katie Miller is director of water capital projects for the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. She showed us a mini replica of how these pipes are designed to flex and move with the ground, unlike traditional pipes that can snap during violent shaking.
This is a pipe that has flexible joints that move not only in and out, but flexes from side to side and rotates. This allows the pipe to move with the ground.
Similar pipes have been used in Japan for more than 50 years, with no reported breaks, even after major earthquakes. Miller says the upgrade is critical because history shows how vulnerable water systems can be.
We acknowledge that a lot of the smaller pipes within the 1,200 miles of pipes that serve our customers will likely fail, depending on how large the earthquake is. This happened in Loma Prieta, and it happened in the 1906 earthquake.
The $80 million project also included seismic upgrades to College Hill Reservoir, which holds 13 million gallons of water, enough to fill more than 19 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That water could be life-saving in a disaster.
It's critical that they have water during and after an earthquake, not only for everything the hospital does, but for firefighting in the area.
The multi-year project began in 2015 and serves as a test case for upgrading San Francisco's aging water system, much of it more than a century old. City officials say it's an investment in public health, safety, and resilience, helping ensure water is there when the city needs it most.
Coming up, a promising solution to the ongoing fentanyl crisis, how one shot can help patients curb their addiction. Plus, the escalation between the White House and Anthropic after the AI company rejected the Pentagon's demands for military use. Anthropic says it's challenging the Pentagon in court after the Department of Defense labeled the company's AI technology as a supply chain risk. The designation has historically been used against companies owned by American adversaries to prevent them from selling products deemed harmful to American interests. The San Francisco company and the Pentagon remain at odds over guardrails designed to put limits on the military's use of its AI. President Trump is now ordering all federal agencies to stop using Anthropic's AI technology. As California faces a fentanyl crisis, 53 people died in San Francisco from unintentional drug overdose in January alone. But now a breakthrough treatment has promising results to help patients kick the addiction. Kara St. Cyr spoke to one patient who says it's changed her life.
Hi. If you asked Elida 5 years ago if she'd ever used fentanyl, the answer would be simple.
Never. Dile a ella que nunca yo usaba droga.
But that would change in 2023 after a neck injury.
I used to before every day, maybe $1,000 cash.
Fentanyl became her medicine of choice.
¿Tienes sueño?
But the addiction came at a cost. 3 overdoses and delayed medical treatment. Something had to change.
I want to stop. I like my life. I see too many people dying, and I don't want to die.
So we're gonna feel, I can see you've gotten a previous injection here before.
Delida now gets injections of buprenorphine through the Department of Health's BEAM program.
A little squeeze here.
The medication treats opioid addiction by reducing Delida's craving for fentanyl.
I use a little bit now, because sometimes I got a pain.
Registered nurse Bethany DeVakarin says the injections show promise.
We can really kind of tailor a plan to what they need and what works for them to help patients start treatment in a more gradual way.
But it's not a cure-all. The injections only reduce cravings for about a month. Patients get the shot weekly, then move to a monthly schedule.
The patients that we're working with are full people, right? Like their drug use is not who they are.
Delida's on her 5th injection. She says buprenorphine gave her a new lease on life.
It's good.
Another chance she never thought she'd get.
Health officials in Santa Clara County say a person with measles may have exposed others while dining out earlier this week. The person visited the Panda Express in Burlingame on Monday and Tuesday.
Measles is one of the most infectious diseases on Earth. It's a respiratory disease that's transmitted through the air. For example, if an infected person coughs or sneezes. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly where this person contracted measles.
So those most at risk are the unvaccinated and those with compromised immune systems. The person with measles had been vaccinated. They had just returned from an international trip. Meanwhile, in San Jose, advocates are taking a hands-on approach in supporting the health of its unhoused people. So this is at the Unhoused Health Fair. Hundreds turned out to receive health screenings, flu shots, haircuts, and hot meals. Advocates say this helps people with issues they could not otherwise take care of on their own.
One thing I'm happy to see is the people helping with the dogs, because a lot of unhoused people can't get their dogs shots or toenails clipped, and they can't afford it. So having that here is very important.
Each year, the fair helps more than 300 people, according to the county's Office of Supportive Housing. More than 3,200 unhoused people checked into shelters in the area last year. All right, after the break, the clouds have parted just in time for the Sunset Night Market. We're checking out the turnout in San Francisco. But first, let's take a look at the Sierra. Here's Johnny.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mosley, and the mountains are calling. The Toyota, it's packed up and ready to go. But before we get out there, let's check out what the conditions are like. The Toyota Tahoe report is ready. Let's head over to the map.
Well, the conditions on the mountain are excellent. We've gotten 10 feet of new snow in the last 2 weeks. Granted, we haven't gotten any in the last 24 hours, so there's a 0 on those circles. But the base, again, is what matters. It's a great weekend to get up there. You just want to be very mindful along the edges of runs. Watch out for tree wells. The snow is relatively new and the depths can be still problematic. So you just want to be safe. Make sure you're going with a buddy in conditions like this. A couple of weather items to be aware of. We might get a few scattered showers throughout Saturday afternoon, and then it could get a bit windy on Sunday, perhaps hitting 40-mile-an-hour gusts over some of the ridge tops, so you could encounter some delays on some of the higher runs. That is today's Toyota Tahoe report. Well, obviously, the warm-up is the headline. We spent the first visit talking about that. We're going to be near 80 again tomorrow in San Jose, mid-70s in the city. I'll show you everybody's number again here in a second if I have time. But Sunday is different. Sunday, that's coming to the Bay. You couldn't have a better formed, more beautiful area of low pressure, tightly wound up right off the coast than that one. I've got to step this down and take a look at it again with a little more detail. So once again, here we are. You can see the lights over there for San Francisco. Let's walk out over to that low. This is what's coming overhead. Like the center of it comes right on shore just as we get into Sunday. And when you get into the center of a low like that, interesting things can happen. Let's get that wider view again on here. We're not going to see so much rain from the leading edge of it because as we visualize where the rain's going to be as we get into Saturday, most of that's going too far north for us and we're not going to see it. We can step that down now to our California view and look at it again. You can see where the rain's going to fall from that initial wave of rain coming in Saturday night. But there's a secondary little impulse that's going to show up after that, and that's what I want to look at with you now. So let's bring that ahead in the Futurecast. We'll watch that first line of rain that comes on shore for Saturday, a little too far north. Let's clear that out. It's not for us. This one is. Now, remember we were looking at that cinnamon roll out there? Beautiful counterclockwise spin? That is going to come directly overhead. Right here, by the time we get to Sunday night. Center of the low sits right there. When you get into the center of lows like this, there's more energy to work with. There's more uplift. We're also transitioning into spring now, and we can be real technical about this because Sunday is March 1st. And that is a thing. March 1st is the start of meteorological spring. So spring and fall are two seasons when we'd be most likely to be able to spark off a few thunderstorms here in Northern California. But you need an assist, like a perfectly located area of low pressure that's going to come right overhead. Let's step that down and watch it again. So here it comes, Sunday night. Most likely time frame, if we're going to notice any isolated thunderstorms, likely comes here. Sunday night at 11, so a few of them graze across the North Bay. That would probably be our best bet from this. Not widespread. Most of us don't notice a thing. But Sunday night in the North Bay, you could get awoken by some rumbles of thunder. Maybe even a brief little downpour. But if you look at the rainfall totals from this, there's not much. I mean, you'd have to get right under a brief little cell like that to get more than a couple hundredths of an inch of rain. Likely not going to happen, but it is something to be aware of, especially in the North Bay. Let's just go back to that story for daytime highs for tomorrow. Get everybody's number on here one more time. This is the headline. You get one more day just like today. Temperatures will be well into the 70s, mid and upper 70s. From Santa Cruz to Monterey. You'll be 80 again in San Jose tomorrow, the first day of your weekend. It's the last day of February, and it's going to be 80 in San Jose. Now, keep in mind, by Sunday, this is all going to change. Let's look at that 7-day forecast, and you'll see how the numbers take a bit of a drop, a pretty noticeable drop. We're going from that 73 down to 61. Isolated shower comes in overnight Sunday into Monday, and then we stay mid-60s for a while. But I don't see any other chances for rain coming our way here. Juliet, back to you.
Darren, thanks so much. In San Francisco, the Sunset Night Market is making its return tonight. It's the first of 4 happening this year. Features food, music, and more. Organizers also say the weather couldn't have been better.
The weather gods love the Sunset Night Market. I think people love it too. I think the vibe and like the enthusiasm of our neighbors have made it so that the weather is just like, we'll give you a warm day.
The night market was put on hold last year over funding issues and some complaints from local businesses. All right, when we come back, a celebration for Black firefighters who've made a difference in the Bay Area, how it inspired future firefighters in the East Bay. So it was a party during the 13th annual Chief is My Belief event today. The Black History Month event is put on by the Alameda County Fire Department to help inspire self-confidence in East Bay youth. We spoke with the first African-American chief of the San Francisco Fire Department about why the event is so important.
And I think it has a real impression for them to see that they can do things, not only be fire chiefs, but they be whatever they want to be. And I think it's important to catch them when they're young like this.
I think I might want to be a firefighter because you can make sure houses are safe and make sure houses are not on fire.
I love this. Today's event was held at Anna Yates Elementary in Emeryville. CBS Evening News is next. I'll see you at 7 with more news.